Hello everyone, this is Andrew from Crown Academy of English. Today's lesson we are looking at the word seem. Seem. This is the pronunciation. Seem. And it is a verb. The main meaning is give the impression of being something, or give the impression of having a particular quality, or to appear in a particular way. So this is the most common structure that we use sim in. Subject followed by seem followed by adjective. Example: Jane seems tired. Jane seems tired. So this means that Jane gives the impression of being tired. Okay, she's giving the impression of being tired. Jane appears to be tired. So her physical appearance gives the impression that she is tired. So we think that Jane is tired because of her appearance. So maybe she's tired, but maybe she's fine. Okay, so that is the important part of seem. It is our perception of something. So the other person is giving signs of something or giving an impression of something, and we have a perception of that, but we are not necessarily right. Okay, so compare this to Jane is tired. When we say Jane is tired, then we are certain. But Jane seems tired, then we are not certain. We have the perception that Jane is tired. Okay, so that's the important meaning of seem. Let's look at the form. So it is a regular verb. So here is the present simple form. I seem, you seem, he, she or it seems with an S. We seem, you seem, and they seem. So the only one that changes is the third person singular. The past simple is seemed, ed, and the past participle is also seemed. Important: seem does not usually have a continuous form. So it does not usually have an ing form. And this is because seem is considered to be a verb of the senses, similar to see, sound, smell, taste, hear, etc. Okay? So example: this is correct. Jane seems tired. But this is wrong. Jane is seeming tired. No, seem does not have the continuous form. Does not have this ing form. This is also wrong. Jane is seeming to be tired. This is also incorrect, because seem does not have an ing form. Okay? The uses of seem. Seem can be a linking verb. There is also a structure it seems plus that clause. It would seem plus that clause. Seem followed by a simple infinitive. Seem followed by a continuous infinitive. And seem followed by a perfect infinitive. So let's look at each one. These are not all of the uses of seem, but these are the most common ones. Okay, so let's look at each one. So seem is a linking verb, and we can also call it a copular verb. Linking verbs are followed by adjectives, not adverbs. And linking verbs can also be followed by noun phrases. And we will look at both examples in this lesson. A linking verb gives us more information about the subject of the sentence. So the form is subject followed by seem followed by adjective. And we've already seen this example with Jane seems tired. But we're now going to look at some more examples. So reminder, the meaning is give the impression of being something, or give the impression of having a particular quality. Claire seems happy. Okay, Claire seems happy. So Claire is giving the impression of being happy. So maybe she's happy, maybe she's not, but she seems happy. Okay, you understand the meaning? We don't know if she is definitely happy, but she seems happy. Okay, she gives the impression of being happy. The cat seems hungry. The cat seems hungry. Okay, so this means that the cat, we could also say the cat looks like he is hungry. Okay, or the cat appears to be hungry. Okay, so the cat is giving the impression that it is hungry. They seem young. How old are they? They seem young. Okay, so subject, seem, adjective. Notice here we have an S, and here we have an S, but here there is no S. This is because this is the third person singular, and this is the third person plural. They seem young. Okay? How old are they? Okay, so this is the most common use of seem as a linking verb. Subject, seem, adjective. And we have in fact two choices of the form when we're using it as a linking verb. We either have seem followed by adjective or seem to be followed by adjective. So let's look at this one first. So seem followed by adjective. And this is usually for subjective impressions about something. So subjective is the opposite of objective. So a subjective impression is something that is not definite, something that is not fixed. Okay, it's debatable. Example: it seems crazy, but I want to travel the world. So it seems crazy. It is referring to the situation or the idea, the project of traveling the world. So the situation seems crazy. Okay, so crazy, it's subjective, isn't it? It depends on your opinion of what is crazy. Okay, it's relative. For me, it could be crazy. For you, it could be normal. So since it is subjective, we use this form, seem followed by the adjective. Another example: the other children seem boring. The other children seem boring. And again, boring is subjective, okay, because maybe my opinion is that they are boring, but maybe your opinion is that they are interesting. You know, nobody is right and nobody is wrong. It's subjective. So we use this form. And the third example: Jane seems excited. Okay. Now, we use seem to be followed by the adjective for more objective facts. Okay, so for statements which are clearer, okay, which are more definitely true, perhaps. So the doctor says, the patient seems to be crazy. Okay, seems to be crazy. So here, this is probably more objective, this statement, because this is a doctor. Okay, this is a professional medical diagnosis. Okay, so here, crazy, it's more definite. Okay, compare it to here, where crazy is more subjective. Okay, it's less clear if it is crazy or not. This is more clear. Okay, so we use the verb to be. Seem to be crazy. The walls seem to be damp. Damp means slightly wet. Okay, so if we touch the walls and we say seem to be damp, then we are more certain. Everyone knows what damp is. Okay, so if you touch it, then there is no doubt. There's very little doubt. So it is more objective. Okay, so we use the verb to be. Seem to be damp. And the soup seems to be cold. You know, if you touch soup or you taste soup, and everyone knows if it's cold or hot. Okay, so it is more objective. So we use the verb to be. However, sometimes there is no real difference between these two. Honestly, the meaning between the soup seems to be cold and the soup seems cold, there is very little difference in meaning, and often both are possible. So for many cases, this is not a very strict rule. The rule isn't very strict. It can be used for both of them. Okay, so for example, it wouldn't shock me if someone said the soup seems cold. For me, that is not a mistake. Okay, it is fine. Okay, so this is flexible. Don't worry too much about this difference. However, this is more important. Linking verbs can also be followed by a noun phrase. And we use seem to be followed by the noun phrase. And we do not use seem followed by the noun phrase. Okay, so this is a strict rule. This is a big difference. So you only use this one when we're talking about a noun phrase. So, example. Who is that man with the children? And the answer is, he seems to be their father. Okay, so we use this form. He seems to be their father. Okay, so we use seem to be, then the noun phrase. Now this is correct, but this is wrong. So we do not use seem followed by the noun phrase. We do not say this. He seems their father. No, this is wrong, and this is strict. There is no doubt about this. This is a mistake. Okay. Example 2. The woman standing up seems to be the manager. So the woman standing up, this woman, she seems to be the manager. Okay, so she seems to be the boss. So that is correct, but this is wrong. The woman standing up seems the manager. No, we must have to be in the middle here. Okay, when we're talking about a noun phrase. So when we use seem with a noun phrase as a linking verb, then we always have the words to be in the middle. Okay. Now we have this expression. It seems followed by a that clause. And also we have it would seem no s, followed by a that clause. The meaning of these two is the same. It's the same meaning. And we use it to suggest that something is true. So it seems and it would seem, they are both polite, and it is an indirect style of talking, of speaking. It's a non-committal style, and politicians often use it for that reason. So a non-committal style means that we say something is true, but we are not saying that we are definitely right. Okay, we're not saying it's 100% certain. Okay, we are not committed to the idea, which is why politicians often use it, because politicians are always scared of being wrong. They don't want people saying to them later that they were wrong, so they like talking in a non-committal style. So let me give you an example. So here is a broken phone, and this is a manager in a company, and he says, someone has broken my phone. Someone has broken my phone. So he's saying this to the staff of the company, the employees of the company. He's saying this to everyone. Someone has broken my phone. So this is a normal way of saying it, without seem. And notice this is a very direct style. Okay, when the employees hear this, it's a little bit aggressive. They feel that they are being accused of breaking the phone. Okay, so this is direct. But the manager can also say, it seems that someone has broken my phone. It seems that someone has broken my phone. Okay, so this is now more polite, and this is indirect. Okay, it's he's not really accusing anybody here. Okay, the manager is not certain that someone has broken the phone, because he's saying it seems. So this means that I have the impression that someone has broken my phone. So he's being very diplomatic. Okay, he doesn't want to create a conflict. And this is the same meaning. It's just a different way of saying it. It would seem that someone has broken my phone. So again, this is polite, indirect, diplomatic, and the reason is he wants to avoid a conflict. Okay, so he's suggesting the idea that someone has broken his phone. Okay, so it's very diplomatic. Now, for a politician, so a politician says, in a direct style, a politician could say, the economy is improving. And when the politician says this, then the politician is certain. He is not saying maybe. He is certain that the economy is improving. But politicians don't like being certain, because later someone could prove that they were wrong. Okay, you understand? So often a politician will say this: it seems that the economy is improving. So later, if the economy does in fact improve, then he is correct and he's happy. But if the economy does not improve, then he is not wrong, because he only said it seems that the economy is improving. So this means I have the impression that the economy is improving. Okay, so if the economy drops in the future, then the politician can say, well, I never said it would definitely improve. Okay, so he he's saying this in a non-committal style. Okay? And he can also say, it would seem that the economy is improving. So this is the same meaning. Seem plus the infinitive. So we can use seem with different types of infinitive. Seem followed by the simple infinitive, or continuous infinitive, or the perfect infinitive. And let's look at each one. So the simple infinitive, I'm sure you already know the simple infinitive. It means to give the impression of doing an action in the present. So the simple infinitive is simply to followed by the base form of the verb. Example, to cry. So example, she seems to cry a lot. Is she okay? So this means she gives the impression that she cries a lot. Is she okay? Or I have the impression that she cries a lot. Is she okay? Okay. He seems to like her. He seems to like her. Okay, so I have the impression that he likes her because he's looking at her and smiling, etc. Okay, but maybe it's just an impression. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe he doesn't like her. Okay, but he seems to like her. And maybe here, maybe the baby doesn't cry a lot, but she seems to cry a lot. Okay, I have the impression that she cries a lot. Okay, you understand the meaning of seem? It's our impression. It's what we think, but we might be wrong. Seem followed by continuous infinitive. And the meaning here is to give the impression of doing an action right now in the present, or doing a continuous action right now in the present. So this is the continuous infinitive, to be followed by the ing form of the verb. Example, to be crying, to be crying, so ing. You seem to be crying. What is wrong? Okay, so I have the impression that you are crying right now. What is wrong? Okay. The new accountant seems to be working very hard today. The new accountant seems to be working very hard today. So today, so right now in the present, I have the impression that the new accountant is working very hard. Okay? So it seems to be working. So maybe I'm wrong. Maybe the accountant is playing games on the computer. We don't know. But he certainly seems to be working very hard. Okay? His appearance is that he is working very hard today. You seem to be crying, but maybe she's pretending. I don't know, but you seem to be crying. But maybe she's pretending. Okay, you understand the meaning of seem? And finally, seem followed by the perfect infinitive. So this means to give the impression of having done an action in the past. Okay, so the impression is in the present, and our impression in the present is based on an action in the past. And the form is to have followed by the past participle. To have finished. Example. So, Mark seems to have finished the project. Mark seems to have finished the project. So I have the impression that Mark has finished the project. That's what that means. Okay, I have the impression. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe he hasn't finished the project. Maybe he's just being lazy. Maybe he's just playing. Okay, but he seems to have finished the project. And finally, the principal asks, where are the students? And the teacher replies, I don't know. They seem to have left. They seem to have left. So I have the impression in the present that they have left in the past. Okay? So maybe I'm right, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe they are just having a coffee next door. Okay? But they seem to have left because the room is empty. Okay? So let's just look at the form here. We have to have, and here finished, well, the verb finish is regular. So the past participle is finished, ed. Left is the past participle of the verb leave, L-E-A-V-E, to leave. So they seem to have left. Okay? So that is the another use of seem followed by an infinitive. There are lots of other uses of seem, but those were the most common ones. Okay, so there we are. That's the end of the lesson. Hope you enjoyed it. Please share the video on your social media and write a comment below the video to say if you like the video. Thanks very much. Bye bye.